So when you're pushing your body hard, you're going to have some type of sprain or strain, or you're going to have some injury along the way that's going to be a little blip on the map. But at the time, it's really going to take away from your training and your progress. What we need to be able to do is to be able to keep pushing forward, but allow that thing to heal and make yourself better in the long term. So I have somebody right now, for example, who their forearm is got some tendinitis in it. So for us to work on deadlifting, trying to hold some heavy weight, that's not going to work right now. So one of the alternatives you could do would be to use a couple of loop bands and kind of rig that up to work on your hip extension and your hip hinge. So I'm going to end up using this just for the angle. You could always attach these bands or something to something sturdy, like let's say a squat rack or a pole, something you know is not going to move. But what you're going to want to do is get 2 bands. You're going to put the one at about hip height. Just loop it through. You're going to stand in it. We're going to put that right around your hips. Now the other one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to stand on it. And we're going to end up putting this behind your head. From a comfort level, you could very easily use one of those bar pads potentially to put this in to make it more comfortable. As long as you're not putting it up too high on your neck, so you're not shoving your head forward. So this is the total option. But what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up standing on this guy. We're going to set this behind your head. Now it's just sitting on my shoulders like a bar would be. Now I'm going to end up leaning a little bit forward for resistance here. What I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to push my butt back, keep my chest up, and then I'm going to drive my hips forward, and I'm going to squeeze my butt to full extension right here. I'm not going to hyperextend my back, and then I'm going to come back down. So I can completely take somebody's arms out of the equation. We still get to engage their glutes a ton with their hamstrings, and we're able to get this hinge. So if you did have or didn't have an injury, this is still a phenomenal exercise. You would be able to make that harder, or say for example you didn't have heavy enough weights and you wanted to deadlift heavier, you can do the same thing but just hold the weights, as long as you felt pretty comfortable on this one that was up here, not slipping off your head. But that's just one way, for example, to take your arms out of the equation and still work that muscle action. There are other ways you could do that too, but that's going to be a great way to make either your weights heavier or to add more resistance to your current exercise.